Hello everybody, J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. Now before we get into this video, I do want to just point out that the mic quality is going to be a lot worse than it usually is, and that's because the cable that connected my microphone that I normally use to my computer is fucking busted, so it has just been randomly cutting out. So I've had to switch to my headset microphone as a last resort here. So until I get that fixed, which hopefully should be very soon, we're gonna have to deal with some pretty crappy mic quality. But I didn't want to delay getting these videos out to you guys any more than I already have. So we're just gonna have to kind of buckle down and deal with it, I guess. But that mic will definitely be coming back in future videos. Okay, so I think that last time we left off, we were, oh no, yeah, because Rod had revealed that, oh, I'm gonna announce to everyone at this upcoming ball that we're a thing and yada yada yada. We're gonna stop hiding it, essentially. So, jump right on back into it. Load. When we returned to the palace last night, Rod immediately retired to bed. I was up all night thinking about him, and how strange he's been acting. I'm resolved to pry some answers from him today, which is why I'm standing outside the throne room, waiting for him to finish his lessons with Emmeline. My heart sinks when Emmeline exits with a gloomy expression on her face. Did something happen? Rod looks exhausted. That's what I intended to find out. Whatever it is, I'm sure you'll find it out. I hope so. Emmeline gives me a confident pat on the shoulder as I enter. Inside, Rod is standing by the window, his back to me. Rod. When he turns to face me, he looks downtrodden. It's enough to make my heart sink. Oh, Yumeko. May I speak with you? There's a long pause before he nods. I said this yesterday as well, but you did not seem well when we were having lunch at the Martian. Are you alright? I'm fine. You keep saying that, and I know it's not the truth. Do you trust me so little? Rod's expression shatters. Never. I trust you with my life, Yumeko. Then why won't you talk to me? I move closer. Close enough to examine his face. The dark circles are still there, and I can tell from his rigid posture that he's tense. Were you up again last night? I thought you said you were going to rest early. I did go to bed early, but falling asleep is another thing entirely. What kept you awake? I just have a lot on my mind. Is there anything I can do to help? Rod shakes his head. Thank you for worrying about me, Yumeko. But this is something I need to sort out myself. It's not that I don't trust you. I just don't have the right words yet. You need to stop pushing yourself, Rod. We all have our limits. Rod stiffens. I know that, but I didn't sacrifice everything to just a war like this. He offers a feeble smile. You know what? You're right. Maybe the rest will do me some good. I'll see you later, Yumeko. He heads for the doors, showed a slouch beneath some invisible weight as he exits. The sun's solitude falls on my shoulders like a cold blanket. I wish suddenly, with all my heart, that he had never made that wish. Rod seems to only become more frazzled over the next couple of days. There's been no improvement in his condition. He tells me that his exhaustion stems from the stress he's under to meet everyone else's expectations, and that he just needs to become accustomed to them. But he says that every day, and there's still no change. This can't go on. I'm worried about his health. I force myself to stop pacing. If he's not worried about himself, then perhaps I ought to make this about me. I could tell him that my worry for it makes it impossible for me to focus on anything. I nod to myself, and, mind made up, walk out of the room to find Rod. I ask around the palace, but though my search is extensive, Rod is nowhere to be found. Where is he? I'm just about to turn a bend in the corridor when Emmeline suddenly appears. Oh, Yumeko! Emmeline. I heard that you've been asking around about Rod. Yes, do you know where he is? Emmeline crosses her arms and regards me thoughtfully. I do. Let's talk in private? Talk in private? Why? I concede, regardless of my confusion. We can speak in my room. I'll order some tea to be delivered. On my command, the maids prepare and serve us biscuits and tea. I dismiss them once they've set everything on the table, then turn to Emmeline expectantly. So, why are we having a private discussion? Well, it's about Rod. But I'm sure you knew that. Don't tell him I told you anything, okay? I won't tell, I promise. Emmeline smiles, looking a little defeated. He's in the forest today, and he'll be there until sunset. The forest? What is he doing there? Well... Emmeline's eyes flick to the biscuits on her plate. She fidgets, looking uncertain. It's okay, you don't have to tell me. I'll find out myself. Sorry. Do you at least have some idea of why he's acting so strange? Rod says he trusts me, but I assume there are some things he feels more comfortable telling Emmeline. They are siblings, after all. Emmeline hesitates a moment before answering. I do, but not because he willingly told me about it. Emmeline sips absently at her tea. You know how Rod is. He can be so secretive when it comes to his own matters. That is a severe understatement. I can't speak. That is a severe understatement. I'm sorry for not saying anything. I don't want to put myself between the two of you. I know this is a personal matter. So why are you telling me where I can find Rod now? I've seen his exhaustion, same as you, and I'm worried about him. He won't listen to me, so I'm hoping he'll listen to you. Does Ophelia know? Yes and no. Mother knows he's stressed, but I doubt he knows how much he's been pushing himself. I sigh as I set down my cup. Thank you for telling me this, Emmeline. Emmeline smiles. Good luck, Yumeko. After Emmeline excuses herself, I head out to search for Rod in the forest. I hear the familiar but no less shocking ring of metal against metal as I enter the forest. It is the sound of a battle. Sparring knights, perhaps. But why would they be practicing in the forest? There are knights surrounding the perimeter of this forest, so I know that whomever is fighting has permission and reason to be here, but I cannot imagine what it is. I quickly weave my way through the trees, only stopping when I spot two men sparring at a distance. Quickly I duck behind a tree. I stare wide-eyed at the sight before me. Again. Are you sure? Maybe it would be best to take a breather. What is happening here? Rod has told me before that his swordsmanship is terrible, so I'm perplexed to see him standing before Garland with his sword, sweat dampening his forehead. I insist. Rod just barely manages to block Garland's strike as he swings again at him. The force of the hit makes Rod stumble, and he trips and falls. Sir Rod, are you alright? I'm fine. Rod grasps Garland's hand and gets back to his feet with a groan. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put so much power behind that last strike. You don't have to apologize. I was the one who didn't react the right way. Rod wipes his forehead with the back of his hand. Let's do it again. One more time. Despite his clear exhaustion, Rod's eyes are filled with determination. These looks like lessons, but why did he not tell me about them? Why is he taking them in the first place?
And most importantly, why must all of this remain secret? And yet, here he is, keeping this a secret from me.
Alright, interrupt the fight or leave. Honestly, just knowing her personality, interrupting the fight is the way to go. Because, again, like I've said before, in the first game, what I've learned after a lot of trial and error is that you always pick the option that seems to make the least amount of sense. So it's like, normally I would be like, oh, okay, well, clearly he wants to keep it a secret, so maybe we shouldn't interrupt, maybe just like support him from afar. But that, because I think that's the right answer, it's clearly not. So we're going to interrupt the fight.
I step out of my hiding spot and slowly walk toward the dueling pair. So this is where you've been. Rod jumps. Garland immediately falls to one knee, looking flustered. Your Highness. Hello, Garland. I'd like to talk with Rod alone. Garland rises to his feet and nods. Of course, Your Highness. Once Garland is gone, I turn to look at Rod expectantly. What's happening here?
How did you find me?
Answer my question.
Em told you where I was, didn't she?
It doesn't matter how I found out. Answer the question, Rod. Why do you continue to keep me in the dark? I want to help you.
Oh.
Rod shakes his head.
I know. You want to help me and I don't want you to worry, but... Yumeko, this is something I can't accept your help with.
Rod.
Please. I know I'm worrying you, which is why I keep telling you not to worry about me. I'm not keeping secrets that will hurt you, I promise. In the long run, this will be better for the both of us.
I would find that more convincing coming from someone who does not look like he's running himself dry. Rod sighs.
I know. I know I have no right to keep asking you to be so patient, but please, I only need a little more time.
I think back to our conversation in the throne room. Is this about needing more time to find the right words?
You could say that.
Rod has always spoken more clearly through his actions than his words. I've been patient all this time. I suppose I can continue to be so, but... I will not allow you to keep secrets forever, Rod. I hope you know that.
It's not forever. In fact, it's not for much longer at all. Soon, everything will make sense. But when I explain everything, you can scream at me all you like.
Fine. I'll see you later, then.
See? Look at that.
I only have the energy to muster a weak smile before turning and heading back to the palace. I haven't spoken to Rod since yesterday. We met briefly for breakfast, but he left soon after, saying he had to catch up on some important reading. I cannot help but be disheartened.
Excuse me.
Ever since our courtship was made public, Rod has been even busier than before. Why is he overworking himself so suddenly? I chose to trust him, and yet I'm still anxious.
Yumeko, focus.
Dolores' words jolt me from my musings. Sorry. Today Dolores is teaching me fire magic. I've only learned how to use ice and electricity so far. Since this is our first lesson, Dolores assigned me reading before we actually start practicing. I'm doing my best to concentrate on the words, but my mind constantly drifts to Rod. Dolores flicks my forehead. I flinch and glare up at her. What was that for? Do you even understand what you're reading? Of course. Really? Because you've been staring at the same page for half an hour. What? I glance at the book and am horrified to see that I'm still on the same page. Let me guess, you have a certain grumpy boy on your mind? Hey, no ice in the classroom! I pull back from the table when I realise there's frost creeping up the ledges. I close my eyes and take a few deep breaths to calm myself. When I open them again, the frost is gone. That bad, huh? He's keeping secrets. Sounds like a pride thing. Pride? Delora grins. Rod has always been prideful, hasn't he? She sighs. Men. They can be so difficult. You sound as if you speak from experience. Believe it or not, I did have a husband once. Her expression dampens. And a daughter. You did? Years ago. My husband was a human. He died many years ago. My little Lorena. She shakes her head. Her voice is whisper thin when she continues. Let's just say the both of them are in a better place now. I never knew Delora had a family. Delora, I'm so sorry. Unexpectedly, Delora flicks my forehead again. What did I do? I'd rather see you annoyed than sad. Melancholy doesn't suit you, princess. Anyway, enough about me. We were talking about your relationship. She crosses her arms. Personally, I don't think it's worth worrying yourself over this. If Rob is so stubborn, let him stress himself out. But I worry about him pushing himself to the brink. Delora snorts. Take it from me, there's only so much stress a body can handle before it shuts down. If Rod needs to rest, he'll have no choice but to succumb to his exhaustion. That sounds awfully ominous. Delora shrugs. You've fallen asleep during your lessons plenty of times because you've overworked yourself. I swear, you two really are the same. Delora grins. Anyway, all relationships have their obstacles. You'll get past this. I turn back to my book with a groan, but though I try my best to resume studying, it is useless. My thoughts are much too scattered. In the end, Delora leaves early, telling me she will return when I'm in a better headspace. Delora's words calm my nerves some, but my agitation still builds throughout the night. I glance at the faint sparks in my fingertips. I have to close my eyes and breathe to get them to disappear. An idea crosses my mind as I'm concentrating. Delora helped dispel some of my worries, if only temporary. Perhaps it would be best to speak to someone else about this, someone who knows Rod better than me.
Ask Ophelia or ask Emmeline? Huh. Again, I feel like it would only be natural to ask Emmeline. Because you're like, oh, well, you know, she's his sister. Because again, Ophelia's kind of played a very minor role just in general throughout the whole story thus far. So I think normally it would only be natural to be like, oh, Emmeline. But because I'm thinking that, we have to go Ophelia. And I mean, even then, though, it's like, who else would know a child better than their mother, right? So let's go ahead and ask Ophelia.
I find Ophelia in the dining hall, seated in front of two maids holding up cloth samples. Good evening, Ophelia.
Good evening.
Her expression brightens when she sees me. Oh, lovely. I could really use your help, dear. She gestures to the samples. Which colour should we use for the ball? White with gold trimmings or velvet with blue? My eyes immediately settle on the white. The material's brighter, more eye-catching. White. White with gold trimmings it is. The maids bow before leaving the room. Now that that's done with, I need only to make sure that there are enough lilies for the festivities. Right, I keep forgetting the ball is in 2 weeks. Ophelia looks up. I'm assuming you did not come here to help me with my plan. To help me plan? What can I do for you, Yumeko? She gestures to the chair in front of her, and I sit with a sigh. It's about Rod. Let me guess. Secrets? I blink. So you know. I'm his mother. I always know. Do you know he's actually opened up in recent years? He used to be much quieter. It is at times like this that I recall the kind of person he was when he was cursed. Even then he was keeping secrets. Dangerous secrets. From me. He's always talked down his own discomfort to put those he loves first. Ophelia laughs. I know it seems like he's a closed book, but this is the way he's been for a long time. He's always been fiercely independent, and so determined he'll take on burdens without thought to how his well-being will impact others. You often have to read in between the lines with him to figure out how he's feeling. Maybe I need more practice in reading him then, because right now I'm frustrated I cannot get him to open up to me. Ophelia grasps my hand and gives it a gentle squeeze. Rod never keeps secrets that would harm those he loves. But he has no qualms about keeping secrets that harm him. Besides, he promised not to keep secrets anymore. Ophelia shakes her head. Perhaps he thinks he's keeping his promise. Maybe he feels the secret is different from the rest. I understand your frustration, Yumeko, but I believe that if anyone can convince him to speak up about things, it's you. I've tried multiple times. I think you underestimate yourself. The old Rod would never have told anyone about his wish, but he told you, because he wants all of us to trust him. Have you tried telling him how this is making you feel? We all know Rod can be self-absorbed when he's trying to do the right thing. I've told him I'm worried about him. But what about you? How do you feel? I pause. When I was searching for Rod, I resolved to frame this issue around me rather than him. But I've not thought about my feelings, only my concern for him.
Excuse me, Jesus.
Relationships are about give and take, Yumeko. Thinking about how this impacts you isn't selfish. It's a necessary conversation. It is as if she reads the thoughts right from my mind. Then I would try again. Thank you, Ophelia. Of course. You know I'm always here for you, Yumeko. Everything will be resolved soon. You'll see. I hope so. The next day I'm on my way to my room for magic lessons with Delora when I see familiar faces approaching me from the other side of the corridor. Honestly, I feel like I hear a new piece of gossip every hour. Isn't that the way it's always been right before a ball? All anyone whispers about is secret courtships. It's ridiculous. Garland laughs. Well, the nobles need something to talk about. Oh. He smiles when he notices me walking toward them. The two knights bow. Greetings, Your Highness. Good morning, Your Highness. Joanne and Garland, once distrusted by the knights, regained their titles years ago, or rather, they were promoted. Joanne is now the High Commander of the Order of Caldera, the first woman to ever receive the title. It wasn't long before she made Garland her second-in-command. We're sorry we couldn't accept the Martian invitation. We were really looking forward to it, but the day just so happened to be the first day of training for the new recruits. Joanne was annoyed and... He smiles. Well, suffice to say that she made the new recruits work extra hard. Joanne huffs out a sigh. You know that's not the reason I pushed him so hard. It is an effort to keep my lips from curling into a smile when I see the flush in Joanne's cheeks. Garland coughs. Anyway, next time we'll definitely come by and visit. I'm sure everyone would love that. It seems we've been busy every day for... She considers. For forever, actually. Have you at least had enough time off to treat yourself to some nights out? Joanne mumbles something under her breath as Garland blushes. This time I cannot help but my smile. Blech. I found out the two of them were courting each other about a year ago. I was out on a midnight stroll when I saw them walking through the gardens hand in hand. Well... He glances at Joanne, who looks moments away from bolting down the corridor. No need for details. I just wanted to make sure the two of you were doing well. We couldn't be doing better, right, Lan? Some extra free time would be nice, but I'll take what we have. You'll be sure to make the next dinner, Princess. I'll look forward to it. As will we. They excuse themselves, and I head off to my room. I've just pulled down one of the sturdy books from my shelf when a voice causes me to jump in surprise. Princess! The book falls in my hands as I whirl toward my bedside table, where Sebi is, for some reason, sitting. Sebi, how did you get here? I leaned down to pick up the book.
I had someone like you leave me here. She was going to wait around too, but she ended up having to leave early for her lessons.
Jesus, this voice, man.
We're sorry for barging into your room without permission.
Why are you in my room in the first place?
I'm here about Rod, of course. He's making a mess of things as usual, so I came here to clear things up.
I raise an eyebrow as I seat myself on the bed. I wish you could still read his mind for me.
I don't need to be able to read his mind to know what he's thinking. Rod's always been an easy read for me. That's why he doesn't take me around with him now, you know. He knows I can see through him better than anyone else.
Sebby sighs.
It gets really lonely in this room.
I feel a soft twinge in my heart. Perhaps Sebby is good at reading others as well, for he speaks up immediately.
It's okay though. Emily lets me ride around on her shoulders all the time.
So, Rod won't take you with him because he's worried you'll reveal his secrets?
More or less.
So, are you here to give away all of his secrets then?
No! I promise I wouldn't say anything.
Sebby laughs when I furrow my eyebrows at him.
Rod is bad at this sort of thing. I came to tell you that he's not keeping a secret from you, Princess. He's trying to surprise you.
Surprise?
Still, Emily's been telling me that he's really pushing himself.
He is. That's the reason I've become so concerned.
Princess, let me tell you something about Rod. He may seem quiet on the outside, but on the inside, his mind is so loud. He thinks about so many things all the time. He worries and he stresses and overthinks about everything. Honestly, it's amazing he keeps it all to himself. Back when I could read his mind, I didn't just read his thoughts though. I saw into his dreams sometimes too. Old, fading memories that made everything make more sense.
Memories of what?
Let me remember.
The door is quiet for a few moments. Even though Sebby cannot alter his expression, I imagine his face scrunched up with concentration. And then...
Rod's father died of some incurable illness when Rod was only 8. Rod barely remembers him. But you know what he does remember? His father's final words. Take care of your mother and your sister for me. He takes that promise seriously. Maybe too seriously. That's probably part of the reason why Rod is the way he is. Why he's taken on so much responsibility and kept his worries to himself since he was young. He always thinks he needs to be better. No, the best for his family, and I know he feels the same way about your relationship.
But he doesn't need to be that way for me. I already love him the way he is. Sebby sighs.
But Rod doesn't think that way. He holds himself up to high expectations. He always has, and I think he always will. He wants to be the most mature, most responsible, most dependable person he can possibly be. That's why he works himself so hard. That's why he sacrifices so much. I would tell you more, but Rod will kill me if he finds out I'm in your room.
You've told me enough, Sebby.
Glad to help, Princess. That guy still can't do anything without me.
I laugh. He really is troublesome, isn't he?
Agreed.
Sebby sighs.
Anyway, I should be getting back to Rod soon before he returns. Hopefully Emily will be back soon too. Oh, that must be her.
I head over to the door. I expect to see Emma Lane on the other side, and am surprised when I see Rod instead. Rod? Hello. Can we talk? I stepped to the side, using my body to hide Sebby from view. Let's talk somewhere else. Rod raises an eyebrow. Wait, why not just in your room? I'd like to change the scenery. I've been stuck in here studying potion books all day. Rod looks at me quizzically, then before I can stop him, he leans past my shoulder to peek inside. His eyes widen. Sebby.
Hi Rod. Busted.
Sebby was... There's only one reason he'd be here.
I was just trying to fix your mistakes.
Rod sighs deeply. I know. Rod grasps my hand and pulls me away from the door. Let's go. Wait, where are we? I'd rather talk to you without a certain nosy plush in the picture. Rod leads me to the throne room, which is empty at this time of day. He closes the door behind him, then turns to me with a sigh. So, how much did Sebby tell you? enough, I think. Yumeko, I'm sorry. Before I can react, Rod wraps his arms around me from behind. Rah! I'm shocked when he rests his chin on my shoulder. Shocked, and then relieved. It's so nice to feel his touch again. I've missed it so much. I missed you, Rod.
I missed you too.
I sure felt Rod's warm breath against my ear.
I spoke to the king today.
With Father?
Yes. I asked him for advice.
How appropriate that I went to Ophelia with the same request today.
To my mother.
What did she say? That I need to be clearer about my feelings.
Ah, the king said something similar. He told me I should be more honest, that there was no point in secrecy if I led to mistrust. I've been so accustomed to keeping secrets for so long that I think I've forgotten how to tell the truth the right way. Secrets are comfortable. There, well, keeping a secret makes me feel safe. There are less expectations, less disappointment, if you keep things from people. All I want is to make you proud of me. Everything I've done to make your life better, to make our life better. And these things I'm keeping from you, I promise I've never kept them from you because I don't trust you. I just don't want you to worry about me.
That's impossible, Rod.
I'm realizing that now. The way I've been acting is selfish. The king made me see that.
I step out of Rod's embrace so that I can cup his cheek. Not selfish as much as selfless, I think. All you ever do is think... All you ever think about is how to make things much easier for me.
I can't speak!
Okay, we're restarting that whole sentence. None of that ever happened.
Not selfish so much as selfless, I think. All you ever think about is how to make things easier for me. You ought to think about how to take care of yourself, too.
You told me countless times I don't need to prove myself to be worthy of you. But
you're not proud of yourself. All this time, it was so simple. I kept telling Rod that he was good enough, but that means nothing if Rod does not believe it himself. Rod looks at me surprised. Then he smiles, a sad smile.
You're right. But it's not just about that. I've always wanted to be the best I could be for you, because you're you.
He gestures at me.
You're going to be the Queen of Angiel. You're the Tenenbaum bearer. You've worked so hard to be where you are, and it's only fair that I match your efforts. I made myself a prince to be worthy of Eorica, but it didn't matter, because that was never who I was meant to be. But this...
He grasped my hand.
I wanted to build this reputation for myself. This time I wanted magic to give me a clean slate, not an advantage.
And the secrets?
I really did want to surprise you. I don't mind running myself dry if it means improving, especially in the short run. This is nothing, Yumeko.
I wonder if this is the surprise Subby was referring to, or if there's something to this or if there's something more to this than secret sword practices.
Rod groans. Oh, fuck.
Rod groans!
In the end, the way I handled all of this was very childish. I acknowledge that.
I think that's the most mature thing you've said all night. Rod flushes, but before I can say anything, I rise to the tip of my toes to plant a kiss on his cheeks. I'm sorry too. I wish we could have had this conversation earlier. But Rod, I hope you know that I'm proud of you. You are the hardest working person I've ever met. I did not fall in love with you for your accomplishments. I fell in love with you because of who you are. Rod lets out a deep breath. He suddenly looks relaxed, at peace. I wrap my arms around him and lean into his chest. Let us try this again. No more secrets? Rod presses a kiss to my forehead.
No more secrets.
He pauses.
But surprises
are okay. But you're not allowed to run yourself down to the point of exhaustion. Understood? Rod laughs against my hair.
Fair enough.
He tilts his chin up, and the two of us share another kiss in the quiet of the throne room.
Bug. Bing. Plans for the future, chapter 4. Alright, and we're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Let's see. Boom. Save. Alright. And then, here we go. Yes. Woo! Ah! Alrighty. So looks like this whole chapter was basically revolving around that, kind of figuring out our communication with each other, because clearly it wasn't exactly the best. Yeah, that was enjoyable. I like that. So I guess in this next chapter, plans for the future will either be about, like, quite literally plans for the future in the sense of, like, oh yeah, we're gonna start a family once I become, like, the queen, or yada yada yada, you know, that kind of dealio. Because I don't know exactly how they're doing this. If it's gonna be like, oh, they get, like, married or something and then they become king and queen. Because doesn't it normally just, like, stays prince and princess until either the king dies or until, like, they give up the throne or something? I don't know how it works, but that will be interesting to see. Man, I'm sorry I don't have a lot of input on this. I'm just absolutely exhausted right now. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when one of those videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.